Hi, this is Claire from Beardy Papery, and today I am sharing a card using the STAMPtember Simon Says Stamp and Hero Arts exclusive stamp set. It's called Prayers, and it's really a beautiful stamp set and pretty versatile, and this is the card I'll be showing you how to make today. So to get things cooking, I'm starting with the coordinating die from the Prayers stamp set. And just so you know, the die is a little bit of a thicker stroke than the actual Prayers stamp. And you can actually stamp the sentiment onto the die. So I kind of like having like a thinner version and also a thicker version. But if you wanted to stamp the actual stamp onto the die cut, you can do that. It works. I didn't pop out my sentiment right away once I die cut it into my cardstock, just because it didn't immediately pop out and I was too lazy to actually poke it out right there. There was no rhyme or reason behind keeping it at this point, so no worries there. So what I'm doing is stamping in Versamark ink, and I'm going to cover with white embossing powder. You might have seen me, I'm kind of making the video go pretty quickly, but you might have seen me stamp in passion flower first before I cleaned off the stamp and then went with Versamark. I did that because the two leaf images that I'm using are from the Elves set by Leah, and I hadn't used this set before. So I don't know, I feel like sometimes when you use clear stamps, the first impression isn't always the best impression that you could get. So it's good to kind of get the stamp a little dirty and kind of get it, I don't know, this is how my brain thinks, but kind of get this little photopolymer clear stamp used to working with ink. I know it's not alive, but that's how my brain works. Anyway, so I got that heat embossed, and I'm using dark quartz and passion flower to fill everything in. There is no rhyme or reason to putting this in. There really isn't. It actually looks pretty hideous at first. I kind of wish I took a picture so I could show you how bad it looked. But once you put in the little dots, like the little filler image in between all the leaves, somehow it makes everything look better. I don't know why, but it does. The dots that I use are from the Color Layering Christmas Tree set. It's like a little cluster of, I think it's supposed to be snow, just a little cluster of dots. And I selectively inked it up to create the little filler images. I think I lost the clip where I did that, but so you know, that's what I did. I stamped the sentiment using charcoal ink, the same ink that I used to do the filler image, and now I've come to the point where I actually have to get to work and pull out that die cut, so I was brave enough and I did it. So now that I got that pulled out, for the card I was originally thinking that I wanted to put a piece of cardstock behind it, but I don't know why, I just decided that I didn't like that look. I wanted it to be smooth. I think part of it was me being lazy, because I realized if I put it directly behind, then I'd have to put in the little pieces from the die cut, like the in between the A and the P, those little spaces. I'd have to like fill that in, and it would be more work, and I'm lazy. So I think that's why I decided to go with the inlaid look. So now right now I'm actually being a doofus, and I'm doing this step wrong. What I needed to do was take my copy paper and put adhesive on that, and then adhere that to the back of my stamped cardstock. So then when I put the inlaid die cut, there's all that adhesive and it just goes down really smoothly. But I wasn't using my brain that day, so what I did was I put adhesive on the back of the stamped card base. So I realized my mistake right here. I'm like, this thing isn't sticking. I'm gonna have to like I'm gonna have to put like little dots of adhesive, like liquid adhesive. I don't really like using liquid adhesive because I don't have a very fine and delicate hand. It kind of smooshes everywhere, so yeah, so I kind of have to fix that mistake later. Anyways, right here, I'm taking a piece of white cardstock, and I smoosh Versamark all over it, and then I put white embossing powder all over it, and then I heat it up. And I do that because when I do fill in the little extra spaces for the inlaid die cutting, like the little between the A and the P and stuff like that, those little spaces. I wanted it to be white, but I wanted it to be the same kind of white as the little white embossed branches. So I don't know, I'm like a strange person. I'm very lazy when it comes to some things, but then I go to a lot of trouble for ridiculously minuscule details like this, but I don't know. So that's what I did. I went to all that trouble. And then yeah, you saw where I fixed my problem, where I basically just pulled off the copy paper from the back. And it was actually pretty easy to do. That's why I like the Scotch adhesive tape, because as long as you don't put too much pressure on it first and don't give it too much time, it's actually pretty easy to pull it apart. I mean, not like super easy, but you know, with a little bit of finesse, you can do it. And I have become an expert at that, at being able to pull apart things that I've adhered incorrectly, because I do that a lot. So once I did get that copy paper off the back, I took a small strip of copy paper, just big enough to fit behind the sentiment. I covered that with the tape adhesive, and then I put that behind the stamped card base. So when I put my inlaid die cut, the copy paper behind it was, you know, it had adhesive all over it, so the inlaid die cut went in really well. So now I'm just adhering the panel onto a piece of layering paper from Hero Arts. I think it's from the Floral pack. And I topped it off with some gems, which I didn't show in the video because it was a last minute touch. So that's that card, and this is a similar card. It's actually the one that I was working on before I started the card that I just showed you. I didn't really like it at first, but then later I liked it. And I just decided to give you 2 for the price of 1. So those are the cards. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something, and God bless. Bye.